Welcome to Influential Entrepreneurs, bringing you interviews with elite business leaders and experts, sharing tips and strategies for elevating your business to the next level. Here's your host, Mike Saunders.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Influential Entrepreneurs. This is Mike Saunders, the Authority Positioning Coach. Hey, today we have with us Natalie Gowen, who is the founder and creative director of Moxie Tonic Marketing and a certified StoryBrand guide. Natalie, welcome to the program.
Hi, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Hey, you're welcome. So give us a little bit of a background of yourself and what brought you to Moxie Tonic Marketing.
A long road brought me to Moxie Tonic Marketing. It started with just a love for all online marketing, and in the early 2000s as email marketing was basically being born and figured out, and has, starting with that and event promotion, working to build communities online, led me to ultimately launching Moxie Tonic Marketing. Because what I found when I was working freelance with a lot of different companies and in some of my corporate positions was there was so much great information out there on all of the technical things that you should do to drive leads from the internet, but not enough focus on what to actually say and how to say it in a way that matters to your ideal audience. So that's always been my focus, is a love of words and making sure the message just really stands out.
So then you actually took that and said, well, if I have that need, then I'll bet other people do too. And then that started to refocus and start your firm and really draw that attention, right? Because I suspect that if you're like me, I mean, in my marketing firm, I was doing all things to all people at all times, and it just got to be so scattered. And then when you can dial it into one thing, it just really, really helps out a whole lot.
Yeah, every marketer is going to tell you that you need to niche down into a specific industry or a specific audience. And for me, that niche has become business owners who really understand the importance of sharing the heart behind their business, but doing it in a way that stays really customer focused is the way to get it to really have results. So that's the kind of business owners that I've ended up working with. A lot of those people get really frustrated by all of the, I've got to have a website, and I've got to have social media, and now I need SEO, and now I have to pay for ads, and none of it's working, and I'm investing all of this money into all of the marketing everybody says I have to have, but I don't have anything to show for it. And it's really been important to me. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, that's kind of like someone that has a really bad online reputation with bad reviews, and then hiring an SEO person to get them more visible online, and all of a sudden, all you're doing is shining light on bad reviews. Well, to your point, people go, I need this, and I need this, and I need this, but they're scattered, and if you don't have your wording and messaging and really all of that dialed in well, then people aren't resonating with what you're putting out there.
Exactly. And that is the number one break that I find in marketing, because marketing works, advertisement works. The part where it breaks is when the message isn't there.
Yeah.
And customers don't understand why they need to care. And so then that's when you're just basically, you might as well just pile up those $100 bills on a table and light them on fire.
Yeah.
It's, that is your hard-earned revenue. You need to make sure that if you're investing in marketing, that you can count on the fact that it's going to have a return.
So what do you do with clients who say, yeah, but I get that and I understand that, but we do so many things, and if we only talk about this one thing you're trying to get me to clarify, the other 19 things that we do, people aren't going to know, and then we feel like we have to tell everybody all of this stuff, and they can't really get their head wrapped around the fact that the more you tell, the more you're confusing people. So how do you get them to pick that one thing, whether it's one item, or maybe you tie all of the things into one concept? What is the thought process there?
That is a fantastic question, and that is one of the biggest, hardest hurdles to overcome when you start talking about clarifying and simplifying your message. It's scary.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, it is a little bit scary as a business owner to let go and say, I have 12 products or services that I offer. You want me to just dial in on the one?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, what we do is we look at it very strategically and say, what is your number one revenue producing product or service? And 9 times out of 10, that one service accounts for more than 50% of their revenue.
Wow.
And so we say, if we can just increase this aspect of it, of your business, what does that do for you and your business and what you're able to do? And when you start looking at it that way and start putting numbers to it, it takes a little bit of that fear away. We never are going to say, let's just check all of these to the side. We have other ways to incorporate all of those services. But when you hone your message into one specific theme and you become known for the company to go to for product XYZ, then things really start to shift and move for your business, because people understand, if I give you my money, this is what I get in return. And that's when people buy.
Do you ever find that when you take them through that exercise, like what you're saying, where it's like all of a sudden you realize that most or a huge percentage of your business comes to this one product, and they go, oh, I guess I never really thought about that. And why would we dump more money into this one product that has thin margins, or 10% of our sales? Why not dump all of our energy and money into this one? So sure, let's focus on that. So do you ever find people that kind of like, that's a revelation, like, wow, that our business really does focus on this, and if we did more of that focus, then that's going to really go right to the bottom line easier and faster?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the time, because a lot of times that service or product is so dialed in that it's actually taking up a lot less of their work hours to deal with.
Sure.
And so they feel like these other products or services are more of a business because they're taking up more time. So not only does it increase revenue, it also increases efficiencies because you're focused on the thing you do the best.
It reminds me, have you ever read the book Built to Sell?
No.
Well, I would highly recommend it. It's excellent, Built to Sell, and I'm reading it again for like the third time, but the whole gist of it is exactly what you just said. It's written in a fictional story format, which those are the coolest books ever, because it's like, oh, that's a quick read, but it's like this guy that's in advertising and media, and he's pulled in all kinds of directions, and at the bidding of this company, they need to change this business card, this flyer, and they're just going nuts. And this business advisor says, look, what do you do best? He goes, well, man, we do logos really, really good. He goes, okay, scrap everything else. And he had to scrap, a contract, $50,000 a month contract. And they're like, no, we want to take that. And they're like, no. Focus on logos. And the bottom line is, when you focused on that one thing, they became excellent at it, and it became a process, and it became so much easier because everyone knew exactly what to do. You're not getting distracted. And that really is similar to what you're saying about messaging. When you have that messaging down pat, your people know that that's what we talk about. This is how we talk about our business. And then the prospective customers in your target audience know what to expect as well. Is that also what you're finding?
Yeah, exactly. And what ends up happening is, it's not that you get known for one thing really, really well, and then you have raving fans who have gotten the benefit from that product or service, who you can then turn around and sell your other 19 products and services to.
Over time.
You've basically built up that recurring client, but you got them in the door with your number one bestseller. Yeah.
Because it's kind of like if you're at a networking group and someone says, hey, or a function, and says, what do you do for a living? And you give them your 2-hour elevator speech, and it's like, whoa, I just wanted to know one thing. But yet, if you give them the little quick one, 20, 30 seconds, and they go, oh, how do you do that? Well, you know what? Let's grab coffee next week, or let's jump on the phone. Now you've got their attention, and you can give them a little bit more, and then maybe it still isn't the full thing, but you're just kind of go baby stepping. And unfortunately, it reminds me of an article about the attention span that we have, which is, even less than a goldfish. I don't know how scientists figure out the attention span of a goldfish, but apparently they're better than us. But our customers are the same way. They're distracted. They're, on social media. They're busy. And so they don't have time to understand all those 248 things that we do so great.
Right, exactly. And to that same point, they not only do they not have time for the 248 things that we do really well, they actually don't want to know how well we do it. They just want to know how much that's going to impact their lives. When you take the focus off of the features of what you do and start talking about the transformation that your product or service has in the lives of your customers, that's when they pay attention. Because there is one thing we will pay attention to all day long as human beings, it's our own self-interest.
Yeah.
So if our marketing message is tuned into the self-interest wavelength, we start to get more attention and hold that attention from our customers.
You said something that reminded me something else, which I think is so critical. We're so busy. We don't have time for things, and people want to know that you can change their lives, and that's great. But I don't need to know the 52 reasons right this second how you're going to do it. Just tell me that we can, get some progress. Well, when I know that I find myself when I'm looking at things and researching, and I see, let's say, hey, here's the 52 ways that you can, whatever, fill in the blank. I'm like, ooh, that's it. Oh, I don't have the attention. I mean, I literally am like, I don't want to go through 52 anything. But if it's like, the top 5, whatever, I'm like, ooh, I could do that because that's quick. And if maybe I'm really interested past that, okay, now I'll go attend your webinar or listen to more or what. But I think that we need to keep that in mind for our customers because it's just like what you said. People want to know the change, but they're not really interested in the 212 ways that we're going to do it until they get to that point where they're like really dialed in and their phone's off and they're not in front of the computer and they're like, okay, let's roll up our sleeves and dig. Now, what can we do here? But that might be 3 or 4 or 5 interactions in phone or email or in person. And I think that we, as the business owners, want to feel like, hi, I'm Mike. Boom, let's go to this big, project we can do together. And they're like, hold on, what is it that we're trying to accomplish here?
Yeah. When you can see the end transformation, but not necessarily know all the steps in between.
Yeah.
That piques interest. And the other thing the other benefit that comes from being really succinct, especially in your initial introductions of what you do, is that it helps people get to your call to action. One of the things I see businesses do a lot when they're offering, say, a free download as a lead generator is that it's an 87-page white paper. And yes, it's awesome. And yeah, there's a lot of details and good things in there, but it's so much to consume, people don't even make it through to the call to action and they aren't able to consume it and get the value of it. So if you can make your initial free offering a 3-step process or a 5-minute video, people are going to get a lot more from it because they'll actually consume it and then get to your offer and your call to action.
Yeah, that's huge. Hey, so what do you feel like some of the main points or key ingredients that a marketing plan or blueprint needs to include for a business owner to feel like, okay, this is my marketing plan. I want to see my bottom line improving and moving in the right direction?
Mm-hmm. There are 3 elements. I'm going to go ahead and practice what I preach here.
Yay.
There are 3 key elements that every marketing plan needs to have in place in order to be effective. The first one is going to be that real clear, simple, dialed-in message. That's the foundation of every good marketing plan is the message. The second is going to be the actual delivery method of that message, whether that's a website, whether that's social media, whether that's a printed brochure. With that, once you put that message on it, it doesn't matter what mode you use to push it out, but you need to have a place for people to be able to view and see it and take action. And then the third element of every marketing plan is going to be a traffic strategy. How are you going to get eyes onto that website and or onto your social media feed, wherever your platform is? You have to have that traffic strategy in place.
So let's say that someone has worked with you to really get their messaging dialed in. What would you say is the go-to first or second step to get that out in front of more people?
So our agency focuses on traffic through three methods. Again, I really like three. Two isn't enough, and four is way too many. So we stick with three here. We use SEO for the website. We work with Google Ads, and then we work with Facebook ads as well to drive, to build the audience and to drive traffic back to the website.
And obviously, when you hear, ads and ads and ads and ads, obviously you want to have the right messaging on those ads. And when you come through your StoryBrand clarification work, now that is going to optimize and amplify the effectiveness of those ads, whereas before maybe they were falling on deaf ears. Is that what the goal is as well?
Mm-hmm. Yes, the StoryBrand message and clarity really helps build that cohesive brand message that is targeted to, number one, the right person, and then you talk about their problems, so you've got their attention. From there, we talk about failures, like what happens if you don't take action, because that makes people put a little skin in the game. Yeah. Like if there's nothing at risk, there's no reason to do anything. And then the fourth element that we include in all of our marketing that comes from the StoryBrand process is that overall transformation. What are you going to be able to do when you do take action? Yeah. How are your problems solved? And not just how are your problems solved, but what does life look like after that? I talk a lot with my clients about okay, we're going to hold up a mirror, a magic mirror, to your client, and they're going to see themselves 3 months, 6 months, 12 months down the road. What's shifted for them? What's better? Now let's talk about that in the marketing. And we see engagements when we get in there and start switching things around on Facebook to start talking less about features and of product and more about the benefits and transformation. Engagement goes up, click-throughs go up, cost for those click-throughs go down. It's amazing. Yeah.
And I think that becomes where all of the, cylinders are firing in the right, sequence and everything is working. Whereas if you just picked one of those things you mentioned and polished up that one, it'd be like a little bit of a blip of a benefit, but it's all got to be working together.
Right. And when we build social media campaigns, especially, we are looking at a long-term strategy of how are we going to hit all of these elements on a consistent basis. Yep. You can't talk about it all in one post. That's probably one of the biggest mistakes people make when they start on social media advertising, is you try to do it all. And then you get the Facebook Live and say, okay, like my page, share the post, go to my website, download the guide. Well, that's way too many options.
Yep.
We just stick to one per post, and people take the action, and you start building that momentum.
Yeah, very good. Well, hey, I just really enjoyed having you on today. Thank you for your insights. What is the best way that any listener could learn more about maybe clarifying their message and making sure all of their marketing is, moving forward in the right direction? What's the best way they could reach out?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, my online home base is moxietonic.com. And you can see more about our specific services that we offer. But if you're interested in a website audit or social media audit, we do those through our book a call button that's on the top of the website, and you can book 30 minutes for a free discovery session and a free website and social media audit.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate it, Natalie. Thank you so much for coming on today.
I appreciate you having me.
You've been listening to Influential Entrepreneurs with Mike Saunders. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.influentialentrepreneurssradio.com.